How are you?
I'm doing well.
Good. So, welcome to Monday Coaching and Conversation. And you can see my eyeballs trying to organize what I am doing with, there we go, with gallery. So, today we're going to go back to looking at last week, seeing where you grew, how things went for you, get an idea for where you are in this moment, and then thinking about what you want to accomplish, where you want to grow this coming week. And here's where I'm coming from. The focus here is who are you growing into becoming? Like who is Loie 2.0, Allison 2.0, Daniel 2.0, Candy 2.0? And sort of from a goal perspective, but also, who's that sort of the next version of the person that has the life that you're wanting to create? And we think about this Candy 2.0, and then making sure that the things that we do are the things that either lead in that path, or even better, asking ourselves, if I was Candy 2.0, what would I be doing? What would I be thinking? How would I be feeling? How would I be planning my day? How would I be, going about my life? Would I even do this thing that I think is important right now? Or do I know there's a better place for me to focus? So I just sort of want to place that as a foundational piece in here as we're reviewing last week and thinking about what's coming this week. For me, there's two reasons. One is that this is the work that I always do. And so I'm happy to share it with you. And also because I don't think it's talked about as often as it could be. We get so hung up on productivity and doing all the things that we think we should do, but we kind of forget that we need that new version of ourselves, like that new vision of ourselves, before we even decide. I see this a lot in my inbox. I get so many invites to be a speaker at a summit, or to people wanting to be a guest on my podcast, or just opportunities. But then when I look at them, I'm like, but that's just like, it's great and it's fun, but it's actually not moving me where I want to go. It's that maybe it doesn't talk to the people that I want to talk to, people like you three. Maybe it's just excitement, like that shiny object syndrome, that busyness, but it's actually not the best use of my energy. And it doesn't necessarily move me into my zone of genius. I'm not a person who wants to speak front of the room at a summit, but podcasting, yeah, that's more my zone. So knowing where you're going, knowing what your strengths are, and then looking each week and assessing, how was last week? Am I moving towards, who I am becoming? So what do you guys think when I say these kinds of things to you? I want to hear from you.
I
Hey, Lloyd.
I feel like the new year is in June instead of January.
Right.
And as I look forward to what I want to do, you've got that energy of the recreation or the newness. So it's cool. And I do have a 2.0 version that I'd like to pursue.
Great. Excellent. Nice. Daniel, what about you?
Well, as you were talking about that, I'm a very curious person, so there's a lot of things I like to do. I'm trying to figure out what's one thing I'd like to do.
Isn't that interesting? Right?
Yeah.
Like, it would be cool if you had enough of a fix on that, sort of like where you're going, that the decision was almost made for you. It might make some of the decision making a lot easier as well. Oh, what are you knitting?
Oh, I'm knitting a sweater for my husband. It's just one side of it. It's taking
cool. Oh, that's cool. I love it. It's great. It looks like it's a bit of a Shetland
It's
kind
a
of.
recycled, it's got recycled material in the yarn.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Cool. Allison, what about you? What are you noticing when you're hearing this?
Well, when you said, when you're being asked to be a speaker, you ask you, or you think about what is a good, or is it a good use of my energy? And I think that is an important thing to consider, because I think I've been thinking about that, and I think it's one of the things that's been holding me back. I've been trying to figure out, what do I really want to do with my time and energy?
Mm.
And I'm a bit like Daniel, I'm interested in many things, and so that makes it hard to nail down, what
You jammed up on me.
I am going to focus on. And then, and I go back thinking, oh, and can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's back now.
Okay. So I was just saying that I'm having trouble deciding, because I'm interested in many things. I'm having trouble deciding what I am most interested in. And then, years ago, when I decided to become a psychotherapist, it was a very easy decision, because you don't have to come up with a niche. I mean, many do,
Yeah.
but you can, most people are coming to psychotherapy because they're miserable in some way, and you pretty much know what you're going to be working with, depression, anxiety, things like that. And there may be, specific areas that therapists make their niche, like, I don't know, sexual abuse victims, or, but being a generalist was great for me. And so that's where I'm just a bit stuck on that whole niche idea.
So this place of indecision, right? Too
Mhm.
many options and indecision. Okay,
Mhm.
good. It's good to know where you're at, even if it's not exactly where you want to be. Like, it is actually part of the process. It is, all of these places that we get stuck and kind of wonder, it is part of our process. So why don't you grab out your journal or a piece of paper and a pen, and we'll just start with a few questions. These are not fancy questions, but they are questions just to get you started thinking about what you've accomplished last week, where have you grown, and then where are you heading? And then hopefully it will give you a place to be really intentional about how you go forward with this week. So let's start with the question, what did I accomplish last week? And I'm going to give you, I think, probably 2 minutes. So I'm going to set my timer, put myself on mute. What did I accomplish last week? I want you to be thinking, recognizing yourself. What am I proud of? What did I accomplish? Another 30 seconds. Okay. Let's move on to something that I wanted to accomplish, but I didn't. What did you want to get done, but you didn't actually get it done, or you didn't even start? Give you a minute for that one. And if your brain thinks it's done writing, I would encourage you to keep your pen moving on the paper. You'll find more information because our brains are kind of like Google. If we ask it a question, it will answer. You're on mute, Allison.
What is the question again?
Something I wanted to accomplish, but didn't.
Okay, thank you.
So thinking about the thing or things you wanted to accomplish last week or didn't, I would like you to consider, is there a theme? Like, has this been on your list for a while? Is there something holding you back? Is it, what might you be delegating your responsibility to? Are you saying something like, well, I just didn't get to it, I was so busy, or I didn't have the time? You know, how are you noticing about how you own your time, how you own your energy? So I'll just leave you to consider that for 15, 20 seconds, and then we'll come back. Okay. So think about the challenges you're currently facing. Allison, you've already shared a little bit with us about one that you're facing, the challenge of deciding and wondering if you're making the right decision. But we'll write for a couple of minutes, identify just one challenge that is present for you right now and how you're feeling about it, write about what you're thinking about that challenge, and see what you notice as you do that writing. So one challenge I'm facing, and then a little bit of writing, a little bit of journaling on why is it like that? What's going on here? Why is this a challenge? Okay. So what are you noticing? What are you learning here? I'd love to hear from you guys. What are you learning?
I've noticed that the things that I didn't do, I usually put everything in my calendar to schedule things out, and the things I didn't do, I never scheduled it.
Interesting.
So as
Is
I
it,
was,
is it as simple as that?
in most cases is, and then accountability as well. And sometimes the things I schedule, if I don't tell someone that I'm going to do it, chances are there's a greater chance that I won't do it because I haven't told anyone. So accountability and scheduling, I think, are the top two things for me.
Okay. Yeah. So I guess I'm assuming that means that there's some stuff in your calendar that, you know, needs to get done. Maybe with a, not to say that you didn't, but maybe extra little bit of focus, you know, just
Yeah.
sort of amping it up just a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was kind of funny because as I was typing out the things I didn't do, I immediately scheduled it.
All done. And in that instant, like sometimes that's all it is, right? It's just like this one little thing, you know, just sort of taking it one more step can make so much difference, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Allison, what did you notice about what you're writing here?
Well, on the question, is there something holding me back? It seems like I'm kind of ambivalent about becoming regularly scheduled, but actually, I don't think that's it exactly. You know, because I recently retired, and so there's a part of me that doesn't want to be, you know, full on again. But I don't think that's it actually. I think I'm not seeing the process as fun right now, and I really want this to feel exciting and fun and like something I really want to do.
Why do you think you're not seeing it as fun right now?
Oh, because I haven't really figured out what I want to do.
What do you want to be when you grow up, Allison? That's my question for you, right?
Yeah. Well, you know, I've always wanted to write, which is becoming so cliche, but, you know, I do. That has always been what I've loved doing since I was a child. But that would be more of a hobby that I would be taking on. So, you know, I've always done things to help people. Like one of the things that has really come to my attention that is really needed, and this is more about older people, is someone who can really coach, you know, older people and families in how to prepare for, you know, the last chapter of their lives where things are going to inevitably go wrong, and what steps to take. And it's something I know pretty intimately because I worked in that field for such a long time.
It doesn't sound fun.
Yeah, I'm trying to decide if it's fun, you know. Yeah. The part about it that would be fun is when I'm talking to people, you know, and helping them with this. And it's, yeah. So I don't know if I'm thinking.
You're getting there though. You're getting there, right? Yeah. Chloe, what about you? What are you discovering?
had a really interesting discovery I didn't expect, and it is I do as well as the company I keep. Um,
Oh.
I was on vacation, and it really wasn't a vacation. I was gone for 2 weeks traveling, and I was with my family, and then I met up with a friend in LA. And the stuff I couldn't get done was because I was kind of limited by the people who I was around. And I know that sounds kind of like a cop out, but literally, this one friend is retired. She has never worked because she's been wealthy her whole life. And her whole life is just kind of filling it with just just entertainment. Like we
Hmm.
went to movies and reading and all that kind of stuff.
You said you were going to say distractions.
Yeah, I think I find them as distractions in a way. Maybe they are for me, but not for her.
Hmm.
And then in with my parents, they need a lot of help. They're going through a really horrible time. But one of the clarities that I came up with when I was riding on the plane ride back was there's a difference between helping someone and rescuing them. I realized, and they want rescued, and I can't rescue, but I could help.
Yeah.
And I almost think that's worth an article, rescuing versus helping.
Yeah. Very
So,
much.
yeah. So that's where I came out was with, I'm back in my normal land, although I do have 2 big things happening this month that are making things hard. But, as soon as I kind of get those figured out, I think I have a lot more focus.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And so you started by saying it was surprising because you noticed that the company you keep influences, and that's, and so, I mean, we can all say that. I mean, when my kids were teenagers, if they were hanging out with the round crowd, well, guess where they were headed, right?
Yeah.
But I'm wondering about this idea of the space that you're in as well. You're used to spending a lot of time on planes, so that may have a feeling of focus on it as well. And perhaps you have a similar feeling in your home and in your home office.
Yeah.
So be curious about that. Yes, the people, yeah, we can decide how we want to be. They could rise to the occasion of being with us, as could be an option. And then what about your space? And as you travel and do these things, how can you create space that encourages you to continue to be the person that you're becoming? So
Well, I was able to coach with you while I was on, as you saw, in the hotel, and that
yeah,
really was wonderful to have that
yeah.
power to kind of, hey, you have to go do your own thing, friend. I've got to do this. Yeah.
Cool. All right. So the next thing is, what decisions have you been avoiding? And I'm going to give you like hardly any time for this, maybe 30 seconds. What decisions have you been avoiding? Okay. I think you know the answers to this one, so just curious to hear, what have you been avoiding?
Me,
Sure.
it's been figuring out how to find my clients, and it's because I'm not ready to be coaching till July.
Okay. Yeah. But you could find clients now and they could start in July.
Yeah. Yeah, they could.
There's lots of coaches who have a waiting list,
Yeah.
sign with me, leave a deposit, and we'll start in 3 months. That's when my space will be opened up. So consider that that's a possibility for you too. Okay. Daniel, I see you took yourself off mute.
Yeah, for me, it's my master coach has a certain concept, and I've taken it and expanded it, and I've called it something else, but how do I wouldn't say claim it as my own now, but I'm thinking, I think I'm going to answer it myself. The question is that probably give her credit for helping me create this new concept, and give her kudos for it as sort of the laying out the foundations of it, and I'm just taking it and expanding it. So that's, I think I just answered my own question.
Yeah, so instead of so honoring it and then saying, and this came to me from this person,
Yeah,
and now here's what I want to, how I want to increase the value of it.
right.
Does that make it easier?
Probably because she's always talking about, giving credit where credit is due. And so I thought, okay, well, how do I best do it? And that it would just acknowledge her for the, what she has taught me, and then continuing for me to just expand the whole concept and what I've known from other things I've learned from the past, and tying it all together and helping others, in my audience to get better understanding of that concept.
Cool. Yeah, that sounds neat. And I'm excited to hear what happens next week.
Mhm.
You know, this like now you can just move forward, right?
Yeah.
Allison, what have you been avoiding?
Well, committing to the process. Hiding, but I did do something. Back to the first question, what did I accomplish last week? This wasn't anything earth-shattering, but I've been trying to think, trying to pay attention to what brings me joy, what feels like fun, and there are a few areas where, things that I think, yeah, that I'd love to be doing that. And one of those things, I've always wanted to travel, but I want to go down to Mexico and visit some dental clinics down there where, they do dental work for much less money than you can have it done up here, like implants, things like that. And I know a woman who her gig is traveling for free. She's figured out how to get everything for free, and it's a whole science, but I think I could tap into her to find out, because I've never traveled by myself to a country where I don't speak the language. And so I did. So the thing I did, I realized I took a step. I decided to get my passports renewed. So I started researching how to do that. And
Cool.
so I think I'm taking a step in that direction. And
Lovely.
then it had crossed my mind that might work into more reason to travel. Maybe that will become my coaching area, something like that. Or medical travel, or because I wish I knew someone who has done that sort of thing, and they could just say, oh yeah, this is what you do. So there must be other people who would be wanting to learn that kind of stuff too.
I love this idea of what brings me joy. Yeah, so stay on that path. What brings me joy in the things that I know and my experience. And it sort of goes back to what you were saying, Daniel, about, there's this concept, but now you're going to layer in your personal experience and your skills and, the experience that you've brought from your life to that as well. And that's the place where you make it unique, right? Your voice is a different voice saying a similar thing. So this coming week, what are your top 3 things that you're going to work on? What's your top 3 priorities? Like, what's the deal that you want to accomplish? If we're talking this time next week, and I said, what did you accomplish? What's going to be that thing that is like, this is the thing. These are the things that are moving me to the next version, the life that I'm creating. I'm going to give you a couple of minutes to think about it. And I'm going to put myself on mute so you don't hear my dog barking. we've got a little bit about priorities. I'm hoping you've also kind of used it to set your sails for this week. Just pause for a second and connect with that version 2.0 of you and put that together with your priorities that you're looking at. Do they match? And then if the answer says yes, I want to hear from you. Do they match? Are they part of that path? And then I'd love to hear what they are. So what are your thoughts? Just take yourself off mute and share with us what you decided. Okay, Allison, what you got?
Well, I have signed up for a writing workshop that I'm looking forward to. And I think I also will get on with the passport applications. And I'm going to start another writing group that's an actual group. And so that's 3. So
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so at the end of the week, Sunday evening, if that's all in the works, does it feel like you've made progress? Does it feel like you're growing and expanding?
Yes, and I also need to find some will and trust attorneys. I think I need to finish up my trust document, and which I'm doing myself, but I want an attorney to look it over. And I think it's weighing on me. It's important. I need to get it in place. So I think I need to get it done and clear that off I think it's holding me back from other things because I know I have a couple of these important things that I need to do. So.
Okay, sounds good. Daniel, Loie, either of you ready to share?
Sure, I'll go. I'm on a spiritual journey for the last 3 years, and I keep learning new things. And I got introduced to the Silva method just recently.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so I'm
the what? The what?
Silva. Joe Silva. So he talks about sort of manifestation, law of attraction type of stuff, but he uses certain techniques to get what you want. And so I'm starting to take his course. There's like a 7 or 8 week course, and me being very curious, I like learning as much as I can. And right now, since Saturday, I'm on like the 3rd week course right now, 3rd week of it. So I'm learning. I like spearheading, just learn as much as I can, just go gung ho at it. So hopefully by next week I can see what I've learned, and then how can I apply what I've learned to help others.
Wonderful. I love that. That's so great. I want to hear about it too next Monday.
Sure.
That's going to be fun. By then you should be done with all 8 weeks.
Yeah, exactly.
Rate of progress, right?
Exactly. Yep.
Nice. Louis, what about you? What have you
What was the
decided?
question again, Candy? I forgot.
It's called the Silva.
Priority,
Silva.
priority. Yeah, priority for this coming week and just making sure that it matches with Lowy 2.0.
Okay. Catch up on all my accountability project stuff that I wasn't able to do until today. Get organized with my coaching reading. I have a lot of reading I want to finish, and I want to book some flights to Croatia in September.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that's good.
And
Done.
that's totally me, man. It's all about,
Yeah.
the business, being fit and, helping people, and my travel is part of that.
Wonderful. I love it. Okay. So kind of a casual closing off your last week and a casual opening up of this week. And I don't know, I'm just curious how do we want to close this time together? Let me see what pops into the back of my mind. So how I would like to close is that I believe that, sort of just circling back to this 2.0 version of yourself, I believe that if we have that firmly in our mind's eye, and then we just keep moving in that direction, it becomes almost inevitable. And sometimes I wonder about setting these exterior goals, and if the goal is sort of like a to-do as opposed to grow or to evolve. I'm curious what you guys think about that. Like, do goals, these sort of SMART goals, traditional goals, do they align with you? Or is it more of a to grow goal that really creates the changes that are useful? So for me, it's the growth type of goal, for like a growth mindset or who I'm becoming as a person and where I'm growing. Those are the goals that actually work for me. The other ones, they're boring somehow. They're just like checking the box instead of creating a life. I don't know, Chloe, what do you think? I see you're still off mute, so.
Well, I kind of find a little bit of both. I feel like those little boring incremental ones are part of the ability to get into that bigger mindset. Like taking a coaching class, when I finished whatever one, I'm just a different person after each class.
Yeah. And so there's actually the to-do version of the goal, as well as the to grow version of the goal happening side by side for you.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. Daniel, your thoughts?
I'm more motivated with the growing things than the doing things, I've noticed.
And I think it's great that we can be both, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the growing, anytime where I have the grow actions, I definitely will do it. Whereas it was just the doing for the sake of doing, it's like, you got to really motivate me to do that.
Mm. And then there was something about what you just said there, is it's like the motivation has to happen from the outside, right? Like somebody has to do something to motivate you.
Yeah.
Whether it's your environment or some external person or whatever. Yeah. Allison, what about you? What are your thoughts?
Oh, I think it's a bit of both for me. That doing tasks can sometimes spur the growing tasks. I mean, I prefer the growing tasks, but I think I think both are good for me.
Excellent. Okay. All right. So that is it for this week. I hope to see you guys next week. I hope that this was a good way. Oh, you see, I'm right on time. I hope that this was time well spent and that you just had a chance to, I don't know, it's kind of, I want it to be an intentional start to the new week, but also from a place of rest, like a place of relax and set your intention, and then off you go and live your week. And I love it when you come back and talk again next week and we see how things progress. Thanks so much, everyone. Okay.
See you
Bye.
soon. Bye.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
See you soon.